And welcome back to Live PST. It's Friday morning and it's time to study English. Yay! So I hope you guys are excited. If anybody is here, please say hello. Maybe tell me how you're doing this morning. I'm doing okay, although as usual I'm tired, but I did manage to shave this morning, so I think that's a big improvement. So yeah, I woke up around 7:30, I shaved, and I came here. And yeah, I wish I could tell you something interesting, but nothing interesting has happened to me recently. But maybe something interesting has happened to you guys. If you guys could tell me what's going on in your life, that would be cool. But what I should tell you today, of course, is in our first class, we're going to be doing some review. Hey, Jian Kim, how are you doing, Jian? We're going to do some review in our first class today. And of course, that's going to be all about grammar and vocabulary. So this will be kind of a recap or just review of some of the grammar vocab that we went over on Monday and also Thursday. We're not going to go over this in extreme detail. I'm just going to do some review with you guys so it can help you with your quiz later. But also, we'll be talking about vocab as well. In our second class today, guys, we need to do some speaking practice. I know speaking practice is always a little bit strange doing it live online. I hope that you guys, like when we're looking at questions, maybe you guys could give me some kind of answers. Hey Alejandro, good morning, good morning. And yeah, we'll do that. And in our third class, we have kind of a fun activity for our third class. Our third class today is kind of in a certain way, kind of a quiz, but this quiz is not for marks, it's just for fun. But what we will be doing is looking at brand logos and kind of describing them, and then you guys have to guess what the actual name of that brand is. So you'll just see the logo, we'll describe it, and then you gotta think, okay, what is that? Is that McDonald's? Is that GM? Is it Ford? Is it Samsung? Is it Sony? What logo is that? But what I imagine, guys, is like normal, we have a lot of information to take a look at. I'm guessing that some of the stuff in the first class is going to spill into the second class, and some of the stuff in the second class may spill into the third class. But we'll see how it goes, right? So guys, what I would like you guys to take a quick look at for some review of this week's grammar is, let's get started with modal verbs, right? Not modal verbs, right? These are not good-looking modal verbs. Haha, bad joke, right? But we're looking at modal verbs. Now, I'm assuming at this point that you guys are pretty good with modals, but let's do a quick review. We're looking at the type, the modal verbs that fit that type, and also some quick examples. So I know I did this on Monday with you guys. Let's do it again. I'll give you guys some extra examples. Hopefully I can give you some interesting examples, or you guys can make your own, right? So we'll get started with ability, and then we've got can and could. Now, of course, ability is all about things that you or other people can do, right? So let's think about ability, and okay, well, I should write here type modal verbs. That looks weird. And basically just examples. Okay, so we got ability first, and of course we know that when we're talking about ability, there are two modal verbs we can use, and those are can and could. All right, and our first example is David can speak 3 languages. Wow, good for David. If David can speak 3 languages, what do we call David? Do you guys know? What do we call a person who can speak 3 languages? So for example, if somebody speaks 2 languages, we call them bilingual. How about 3? What do we call someone who can speak 3 languages fluently? Bilingual is 2. What about 3? Gian or Alejandro, do you guys have an idea? What do we call a person who can speak 3 languages? Bi for 2. So what is it for 3? Something lingual. So I should have written here 2 languages. Okay, maybe you guys don't have an idea. That's okay. Somebody who can speak 3 languages, it starts with a T, and then an R, and then an I, and then lingual. Trilingual. And that is 3 languages. So if I could speak French fluently, I can speak French, but I cannot speak French fluently. My French is maybe lower intermediate level. If I could speak French fluently and also Korean fluently, then I would be trilingual. Unfortunately, I'm not trilingual. I wish that I was. I think my Korean is like lower intermediate. Yeah, maybe worse than that. I'm not too sure. Anyhow, besides that, guys, we have he could speak he could speak fluent French when he was 5. Wow, good for him. That's really awesome. Anyhow, but let's think of a different example, right? One using can, one using could. Can is pretty easy. I, he, she, they, you. I can, what can I do? I can cook Canadian food. Ooh. Now, you might be wondering though, what is Canadian food? That's a good question. I can't give you a good answer. But Canadian food is, kind of similar to American, but we have our own special things as well. But I can cook Canadian food. Now, an example using could. I could climb trees when I was younger. Okay, so I had the ability to climb trees when I was younger. This sentence here, of course, could can be the past tense of can, right? I could climb trees when I was younger. This kind of indicates that maybe I can't climb trees anymore, which is not exactly true. I can still climb trees, but not very well. And of course, I'm an adult, so I'm not climbing trees very often, right? Anyhow, guys, so there are some examples there. Let's move on to our next one, which is talking about permission. Permission. What is permission? Of course, when we want to do something, but we have to ask somebody else, we must ask for permission. Hey, is this okay? Is it okay if I do this thing, right? And there are 3 different modal verbs we can use. We can use can, could, and may. Now, I think the important thing to keep in mind here, like I said on Monday, is if you want to be polite, you want to sound really proper when you're asking for permission, it is always a good idea to use may. May I do that? May I do this, right? It just sounds much more polite. May I go to the bathroom, right? Now, of course, you can say, can I go to the bathroom? Could I go to the bathroom? That is completely fine, right? They all basically have the same meaning. But by using may, we just make it much more polite, right? So let's take a look at their examples here. Can I sit in that chair, please? Can I sit in that chair, please? Okay, totally fine. Could I open the window? May I borrow your dictionary, right? And to me, all these questions are they're all asking for permission to do something or to use something, right? And that's totally fine. But using may, it just seems more polite. So let's make a question asking for permission using may. May I, what is a very common question for permission that we ask? May I go to the bathroom? That's very common. May I take a seat here? That's very common. May I, may I eat the last slice of pizza, right? And the answer is obviously no, right? You shouldn't take the last slice. But of course, instead of may, we can substitute in can or could, right? So asking for permission is not really that hard. Of course, there's going to be a question mark at the end, and you're going to start with can, could, or may. May I do this? May I do that? Could I do this? Could I do that? Can I do this? Can I do that? Right? And it's not too bad. Anyhow, I think that's good enough for permission. Let's take a look at advice. Giving advice or making suggestions is something we often do in life because people are often asking us for advice, right? Even if we're not good at giving advice. And our modal verb, of course, is just should. And we have examples here like, you should visit your dentist at least twice a year. Yeah, I guess that's probably true. You should do that twice a year, right? Once for a checkup, another time for a cleanup, and maybe if you have a cavity, maybe you need to schedule another appointment. Bum, bum, bum. You should try to lose weight. Well, geez, now I feel like the paper is trying to tell me I should lose weight as well. Thank you, paper. That's really useful advice. Probably you guys as well as, of course, myself and many other people, because of the coronavirus, we've spent so much time at home, right? And recently, my second daughter, Lila, was born. And when we were in the hospital and then later at home, my mom was here and she was cooking all these kind of comfort foods, right? And comfort foods are foods that make us feel comfortable. Foods usually from our childhood that our mom used to make. They're usually also kind of unhealthy, right? So my mom was cooking a lot of comfort foods. We weren't moving around too much, and I put on more weight. So yeah, I should lose weight. But anywho, thinking of an example here for should, a nice piece of advice. Of course, you should do something. You should. Or actually, let's use the negative, right? Let's say you shouldn't. What is something we shouldn't do? Does anybody have an idea? You shouldn't what? What should we not do in our lives, right? You shouldn't. Okay, well, this is going to be a boring piece of advice, but you shouldn't go grocery shopping. Now, wait. Without a mask. Okay, sorry, that's a long sentence, but we're kind of reaching the end of the board here. But you shouldn't go grocery shopping without a mask, right? These days, if you need to go grocery shopping, you should wear a mask in the supermarket, right? So you shouldn't do that. Okay, so that's a basic piece of advice. You shouldn't, but of course we could also have he, she, they. Let's say they. They should. Actually, last night there seemed to be an incident around my apartment at around maybe 11:30 p.m. There was so much screaming. And actually, the person screaming, this woman, she was about 1.5 blocks away from our apartment unit, but she was so incredibly loud, right? Very obnoxious, pretty awful. So I thought, I didn't know if it was, one person or multiple people at the time. So I thought they should shut up, right? Now, of course, that's kind of rude saying shut up, but that's what I thought at the time, honestly. They should really shut up because they were obnoxiously loud. But actually, it turned out to be just one woman. And the only reason I know that is because later the police came, and I think this woman, yeah, Jian Kim, that's also a good one. Yeah, let's add that. We shouldn't smoke. Or he, or she, or you. Maybe Jian, you know that I'm a smoker, so yes, I shouldn't smoke cigarettes. But I do, which is unfortunate, but I should stop, right? I will stop soon. I don't smoke around my kids, of course, that's really terrible. But anyhow. All right, guys, so we know how to give advice. We got to use the modal verb should, and we just say things like he, you, she, whatever, should or shouldn't do something, right? So let's take a look at our next one. We have obligation. Obligation, like a responsibility, something we must do, right? An obligation. And our modal verbs for obligation are, of course, must and good old have to, right? And our examples here is, What do we got? I must memorize all of these rules about tenses. That's a very sad example, right? But it's kind of true when you're studying English or any language, right? There are so many different verb tenses, and I believe English has a lot of different verb tenses, some of them which maybe don't exactly exist in different languages. I can't remember exactly, but I remember there are some verb tenses in English that don't really exist in Korean. I can't remember which ones. Not major verb tenses, but more minor ones. But anyhow, when it comes to verb tenses, this is kind of true. You basically do have to memorize a lot of the rules regarding verb tenses, and it's not very exciting, it's pretty boring, but you just have to do it, right? So I must memorize all of these rules about tenses. You have to take off your shoes before you get into the mosque, right? Well, I would say a more general rule would be you have to take off your shoes when you're entering someone's house, right? In the past in Canada, I think it was very similar to America in that, you know, when you enter your own house or somebody else's house, you could wear your shoes, you could keep them on. But yeah, I think that was in the past because I can't remember ever doing that when I was growing up. Like, I always took my shoes off before entering the house in my hometown. And also my friends' places. Of course, I would never wear my shoes inside. I know there's a lot of students from like Japan or Korea that have like a kind of stereotype or generalization about how Western people, especially English speakers, wear their shoes inside. And this is true and this is not true. I think some places in America, this is true. And some places, I think, yeah, I met one Scottish guy from the UK, of course, who wore his shoes inside my friend's house. And it was such a weird thing. Like, we were having a dinner party, and this Scottish guy was like my female friend's boyfriend. And anyhow, he, you know, knocks on the door, we welcome him in, hey, nice to meet you. And then he just walked inside the apartment, my friend's apartment, with his shoes on. And everybody was like, kind of like, whoa, like kind of shocked. Like, I can't believe he's wearing his shoes. Like, that's pretty rude. And he didn't say anything, and nobody said anything to him, because Canadian people, especially in Vancouver, we are not direct when we want to complain about something sometimes. We just kind of stay quiet. So anyhow, what was my point? Yes. Most English speakers, I don't think they wear their shoes inside. I view that as very strange, very alien. But I think some places in America and maybe some places in the UK, maybe Australia, I'm not sure, but most English speakers don't. Which is always weird because when I lived in Korea, before I entered someone's house, they'd always tell me, hey, please take off your shoes. And I'd be like, yeah, of course. Like, why are you telling me this, right? But anyhow, obligation. Before you get into the mosque, of course, if you're going to be entering a place of worship like a mosque is like a Muslim church or a Muslim temple, right? Muslims pray at a mosque. Christians pray at a church. Buddhists pray at a, I think, temple. I could be wrong. Temple shrine. Jewish people pray at a synagogue. Anyhow, must and have to. Let's think about using have to or must to talk about obligation. Of course, I can make a simple example for myself. I must... These days I have to take more care of my older daughter because, of course, my wife has to focus on our new daughter because, you know, she has to give her milk, you know, all this kind of stuff. But I must cook dinner. I think these days I'm cooking dinner about 5 days a week because my wife is just so busy, you know, taking care of our younger daughter. She doesn't have a lot of time. So unfortunately, I must do the cooking. And that sucks for everybody because my cooking is not the best. Anyhow, and you have to, now of course today, guys, after this class, you have to take your quiz, right? You have to. You don't have to. Nobody's going to kill you if you don't do it, but you should, right? But anyhow, you have to take your quiz. And if you don't, we will be very upset and probably cry. Anyhow, last one here, guys, is talking about possibility using modals. Possibility, right? A very delicious tea that may or may not taste good. Might, may, could, and can. So there are a lot of different modal verbs you can use here to talk about possibility, the possibility of something occurring, right? The examples here are pretty good. It looks nice, but it might be very expensive, right? This is something I often say when I'm window shopping, right? I see something that looks nice, but then I assume that it's probably expensive, right? Yeah, it looks nice, but it's probably, it might be, could be, it can be very expensive. Richard may be coming to see us tomorrow, right? Also, my younger sister might babysit my daughter tomorrow, my older daughter. So that could be my example. My younger sister might babysit. And babysit is actually a verb, right? Babysit my daughter tomorrow. And I hope you guys are okay with babysit. Babysit just means, you know, to look out after a child, take care of a child for a set amount of time when you are not the parent, right? My daughter tomorrow. Okay, guys, so of course we went over all the different types or usages of modals here. Well, we just went over 5, and that's a very quick review as well. Please keep in mind that, you know, this stuff that we just took a look at, it's a quick review, right? If you want to do more review, of course, you can always take a look at this one here, which is Modals of Ability. And this is pretty good too, right? So we'll take a look at this in a second, but here's a good summary with some extra examples. Let's take a look at Modals of Ability, but let's not spend too much time on this because, of course, we also have that vocabulary to take a look at that I am kind of worried about, right? So we've got modals like can and be able to, and you remember the usage, general or specific ability, be able to, general or specific ability. You know, Max was able to swim, I am able to cook, I can cook, etc. We've got modal could. Just remember, could can be used for general ability or couldn't, general or specific. I couldn't play the piano, be able to manage it. Now let's not go over this in detail. But this is also useful, so check this out later. But also take a look at some of the stuff Melanie did yesterday and some of the stuff that I did again on Monday. It would be good to review those things before you take your quiz. Of course, you can take your quiz later today if you wish. You could also take it on the weekend though, right? So, you know, it's really up to you. All right, guys, when it comes to the vocab list for this week, the vocab list was really extensive. It was huge. It was humongous, right? And I hope you guys were able to use some of those terms in your assignment or for your homework, right? So that you could become more familiar with them. But anyhow, we had the top 20 print media adjectives in order of efficacy, right? Or usefulness, basically, right? And we had things like new, good, better, best, free, fresh, delicious, sure, clean, wonderful, special, crisp, fine, great, real, easy, bright, extra, safe, rich. Those ones, they're all easy, right? So you guys should be totally fine with them. But moving on, we had other premium adjectives. Easy, easiest, exclusive. Now, do you guys remember exclusives? If you describe something as being exclusive, it means there's a limited quantity of this item, so that if you are able to purchase this and own this, you are part of a very small group of people that own this thing. So for example, like a Maserati, right? Maserati, Lamborghini, Ferrari. Not a lot of people own a Maserati, Lamborghini, Ferrari, right? These are like really high-end luxury cars. So if you own them, you're part of a very exclusive club. the Maserati Club. Wow, congratulations, right? But if you're living in Vancouver or a city like Vancouver, and your friend's like, hey, I got a BMW, it's kind of like, so what? Like, man, like 25% of the people in Vancouver have a BMW. That's not cool, right? Or a Mercedes. Anyhow, I'm just kind of joking, but not joking. So exclusive, just remember, if something is exclusive, it's very limited in supply. After that, we have fast, guaranteed, learn more, limited, similar to exclusive, right? Proven. Proven is used a lot in commercials, especially for drugs or pharmaceutical drugs, right? This drug has been proven to help you lose weight, right? This drug has been proven to alleviate headaches and stuff like that, right? If it's been proven, it means that some scientists or maybe the FDA in the United States, the Food and Drug Administration, has looked at this, done tests, and gotten enough proof to show that it is beneficial or good. Simple, tested. Tested is, kind of connected to proven and unique. Okay. Now, besides that, guys, we also have other adjectives that have stood the test of time. Okay, so again, these are all related to advertising and marketing, right? We have things like 100%, right? This product is 100% waterproof. Water cannot get through this product. Actually, I have a good example of that. Maybe you guys have seen the commercials on YouTube recently or on some other site, maybe Facebook. I'm trying to remember the brand name. I think they're called Vassi? Vissi? Vassi. I don't know. It's some kind of new footwear company, and they came out with a new brand of 100% waterproof shoes. And actually, the shoes look really good. And I think they actually are 100%. They've been tested, and it's been proven that they are 100% waterproof. And that was pretty cool. Anyhow, affordable is a very good adjective, right? If something is affordable, it kind of has a similar meaning to cheap, or at least it's not expensive, right? If something's affordable, you can't afford it, you can buy it, right? In Vancouver, like I said before, electricity and heating is very affordable. It's actually quite cheap compared to most countries. But pretty much everything else in Vancouver is quite expensive, maybe almost unaffordable, right? For me, a Maserati car is unaffordable. I cannot buy a Maserati. Anyhow, all new, amazing, approved. Approved is another adjective that you might use when you're describing something. And again, it's kind of connected to evidence, proof, something being proven or tested, right? This new drug has been approved by the FDA or the Canadian Council of Doctors or something. Automatic, we know what automatic means. The opposite of automatic is manual. If something is manual, you have to operate it yourself, right? If something is automatic, you don't have to worry about it. So usually when you're buying a car, these days more cars are automatic than manual, but you have that choice, right? Do you want manual or do you want automatic, right? If it's manual, you're gonna have to control the stick shift, right? If it's automatic, you don't have to worry about it. Bargain price. Remember, bargain price is really cheap, right? Wow, that's a bargain. That's so cheap, right? Caring, certified, challenging, classic. Classic, of course, would mean that this thing has been around for a very long time, right? Or has this kind of old-timey feeling. Colossal. Colossal being big. The opposite being compact, being very small. Complete, confident, convenient, crucial. Oh my God. Okay, guys. Obviously, there are too many words here. Please take a look at these ones later. Most of them are really, really good. Some of them might be a little bit tough for you guys, but I highly recommend going over these in detail when you have more time. So let's switch on over to the backside. And we have the top 20 print media verbs in order of efficacy. And all these verbs are very easy, and you guys are familiar with them. Make, get, give, have, see, buy, come, go, know, keep, look, need, love, use, feel, like, choose, take, start, taste. Okay. Other verbs we can take a look at. Other premium verbs. Be, click, right? Does everybody know click? You click the mouse, right? When you want to do something on the computer, right? Click compare, discover, don't miss out, ends, find, grow, increase, love, start here, save, try it. Okay, so those ones are all pretty easy so far, but maybe other verbs that have stood the test of time. When it comes to advertising and marketing, this one or these words here could be a little bit harder. So let's take a look at them. We've got things like act now. So usually in an infomercial, or when a company is trying to sell something and they're trying to create a sense of urgency, like you should do something now, they'll say act now, order today, right? So act now is kind of a fun one. Be first to qualify. Be first to qualify. Maybe again, this would be for a drug commercial for like testing. Be first to qualify means you have to apply to get this product or to try out this product. So you have to be first to qualify, all right? And we have dare and dare you. Dare is a very interesting verb, to be honest, that not a lot of ESL students know how to use. Now, usually, when you use the verb dare, especially at least when I was a kid, we would often dare each other, right? Like me and my brother, or my friends and I, right? We would dare one another to do something kind of stupid, right? I dare you to eat that worm, right? And like, well, what will you give me if I eat the worm? Oh, I'll give you $1, right? I dare you to talk to Stacy, right? Like, ooh, a dare, right? But yeah, some companies in advertising, they might dare you to buy their product or to try out their product, right? I dare you to, oh, that would be a good one for, if I'm thinking of a Korean product, for example, what is it called? Buldakmyeon? Buldakmyeon. There, maybe buldakmyeon, fire chicken noodles, right? Maybe a lot of people in North America, like for us, that stuff is really, really spicy. I think that's spicy for a lot of Korean people too, but for many North Americans, that's extremely spicy noodles, right? Chicken noodles. Chicken noodles? Yeah. So actually, I gave a pack to my younger brother, and I say, I dare you to eat this, right? Because this is super spicy. And I told him, yeah, I dare you to eat this, but when you eat this, make sure you have a glass of milk or a lot of water on hand, right? Anyhow, delivered, donate. We know what donate means, right? When you donate, you give away something for free. Maybe you donate food to some homeless people, or you donate money to a charity organization. Eliminate. What does eliminate mean? Eliminate means something similar to like destroy, right? If somebody says, I'm gonna eliminate you, that's a big threat, right? They're saying like, I'm gonna take you out, I'm gonna destroy you, right? But in advertising, a lot of companies will say like, our product has eliminated the competition, right? Because our product is so much better that we are just destroying the competition completely, right? Anyhow, eliminate, exceed. If something exceeds something, it means it goes beyond. It goes to a level higher, right? We often say something like, for example, you have exceeded my expectations. And of course, that would mean like, I expected something from this person, but they exceeded my expectations. So they've gone beyond my expectations. So basically, they have really impressed me, right? Or usually this is used more often when we're talking about a product or maybe some food. Tesla cars have exceeded my expectations. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but if you have ever driven in a Tesla car, like I knew it was gonna be good, but when I was in my friend's Tesla, I was really impressed, right? It's so smooth and there is no noise, right? Because there's no traditional gas engine, right? So it's pretty awesome. So it definitely exceeded my expectations. Anyhow, after exceed, we have explain, too easy, get ahead. And that's kind of too easy. You guys know get ahead means go beyond. get something extra, helping people like you, hurry, improve, introducing, invest, open 24 hours a day, order now, order today, pay later, profit, read all about this, reveal, succeed, take advantage of, unlock, and win. Well, take advantage of. Yeah, I think most of those ones there, guys, are not too bad. If you got extra time, take a look at them, make sure you understand them. But we have just a little bit more vocab to take a look at today. And this one here, brand personality traits. I think you guys saw this one before. Hey, James, how are you doing? Nice to have you here. So guys, take a look at brand personality traits. We have tons of different adjectives here, right, to describe different brands. Now remember, if at some point you guys have a question, feel free to ask me a question at any point. It's really okay. Otherwise, I just keep talking. But yeah, we have this really excellent list here. We have things like accessible, approachable, bold, calm, casual, etc., etc. So these are words that we often use to describe brands, right? And if something is accessible, what does that mean? If we say, oh, this is an accessible product, right? Or an accessible service, what does that mean? It's accessible. Does anybody know? Of course, if we say something is accessible, it means we can have access to it, right? We can use it, we can enter this place, we can do something there, right? Oftentimes when we describe something as being accessible, it kind of has a meaning to like easy to use or easy for a common person to use without special knowledge, right? So anyhow, that's accessible. How about approachable? Again, this could be used for a person as well, right? What does approachable mean? Does anybody have an idea? If we said, John is an approachable man, right? Or she seems to be approachable. Of course, the meaning here is that the person kind of seems nice, friendly, or open, right? We can approach this person. We don't feel like kind of afraid of this person, right? Now again, the opposite of this is very simple. If we say somebody looks unapproachable, right? Just add UN. That would mean that the person looks kind of scary and you don't really want to go up to them and start talking to them, right? Anyhow, approachable though, this is a very good adjective. I use this quite often, so that's a good one to pick up. Next term here, guys, is bold. Bold. Now don't confuse bold with bald, right? There's bald, B-A-L-D, and then there's bold, B-O-L-D, right? If somebody is bald, B-A-L-D, that means they don't have hair, or at least they don't have hair on the top of their head, right? My one friend in high school, he used to be one of the best looking guys in my hometown. Very popular with a lot of girls. But before we graduated high school, he was already balding. I think at about 17, he started losing his hair. And it was really sad because he had like nice kind of long blonde hair. He looked like a typical, how can you say? He looked like a typical surfer dude, right? And yeah, he was really popular with women. And then after he started balding, like, unfortunately not so much. Anyhow, but bold, what is bold? B-O-L-D. Bold kind of means like brave or unafraid to do something, right? So if somebody describes you as being a bold person, it means you have some confidence, right? You have some courage. You're not afraid to get things done. So that's bold. Anyhow, calm, we all know what calm is, too easy. Casual, we all know what casual means, that's also too easy. Cheerful, of course, we all know what that means. Cheerful, if you're a cheerful person, you're quite happy, you're quite nice. So we'll move on to classic. Classic we already talked about previously, but classic would describe something as being kind of, well, actually another good term for classic would be, would be timeless. They don't exactly have the same meaning, but it's very similar, right? If we say, you know, this product looks classic, it looks like it maybe comes from the past. And if it's classic, it's something that like never goes out of style. It's always kind of cool, right? And timeless basically has the same meaning. If we say this product, that dress, it's a timeless dress, right? That dress will always be fashionable at any point in history, right? It's really classic, right? Or classic music, right? Or classical music, Beethoven and Mozart and all that kind of stuff, right? That will never really go out of style, right? It's not like it's super popular right now, but anyhow. After that, guys, we have conservative. Just remember, conservative is usually used to describe somebody whose opinions are kind of like a little bit older or old style, kind of traditional, right? It is also used to describe a certain political affiliation, right? Conservatives are generally on the right. In Canada, anyhow. In Canada, we say liberals are in the middle, conservatives are on the right, and socialists are on the left. And on the far left, you've got the crazy communists, right? On the far right, you have the awful right-wing fascists. Anyhow. After that, we have contemporary. Okay. Contemporary is an interesting one. What does contemporary mean? Contemporary has a similar meaning to modern. You know, in this age, in this time period, right? Contemporary music is like modern music, as opposed to classical music, which is kind of from the past, right? Classical, convenient, cool. Cool to easy. We all know that I'm just too cool. Bad example. Creative, custom. What does custom mean? Custom. Now, custom actually has a lot of different meanings, right? There's a noun version, there's an adjective version, etc., etc. You guys know when you go to a different country, right? You have to go through customs or immigration and customs. And those are the people that check your documents or check why you're entering this country, right? Custom can also be like a tradition that many people, a tradition or a traditional rule that many people in your country follow. So like in Canada, it's a custom that we open the door for people behind us, for example. Or in Japan, it's a custom that you bow when you see somebody. Same in Korea. Or in South America, I think it's a custom when you greet other people to kiss their cheek, I think. But I know there's many South American countries. I'm not sure what the rules are in different ones. Anyhow, but custom can also have a different meaning as well. If you get a custom-made product, it means that you're able to kind of modify aspects of the product to better suit you, right? So just imagine, think about when you're using a computer. When you download a program, usually when you're downloading it or you're installing it, you have two options. A standard installation, so you know it just does whatever it wants, or custom, right? And then you kind of choose what parts of this you want. And that's what custom is all about, right? Anyhow, moving on, guys. After custom, we have cutting edge. Cutting edge is a really good term, but it's kind of used in a phrase. With cutting edge, we often say, yeah, Tesla is another good example. So I'll use them again for an example here. Tesla is on. So you need the preposition on the cutting edge. Now, you could just end the sentence there, and it's totally fine, and most people in North America would understand you. But Tesla is on the cutting edge of, and then you could explain of what, right? Of car, well, actually, I'll be a little bit more specific, of automotive technology. So the meaning of this, of course, is that Tesla, the car company owned by Elon Musk, if something is on the cutting edge, that means they are like the best of the best. They are like in their field, whatever field that is, they are one of the most innovative companies, right? They're one of the most creative. They are technologically or stylistically, it depends on what you're saying, they are kind of ahead of the competition. They're in the top 1%. Now, of course, this is totally true because we know Tesla cars have the best electric motors, right? I don't think any other car company comes close. But also, they're really far ahead when it comes to, what is it called? Automated cars, right? Cars that don't actually need somebody to manually drive them. So we could say, yeah, Tesla is on the cutting edge, right? Or if you want to explain in more detail, of blah, 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 blah. If we talked about somebody from the past, let's say Leonardo da Vinci, not DiCaprio, right? DiCaprio, great actor. Is he extremely intelligent? Nah, maybe not. No, I think he's a smart guy. But anyhow, Leonardo da Vinci was on the cutting edge. So in this sense, I'm just kind of saying that Leonardo da Vinci, he was an extremely innovative and intelligent person for the time in which he lived, right? A custom in Argentina is in fact kiss on the cheek to say hello. Hey, thanks Alejandro. So Alejandro just told me that a common custom in Argentina is a kiss on the cheek to say hello. So I guess it's just a quick mwah, and you're done, right? Yeah, I know it's kind of complicated because like some of my friends are, well, actually just one of my good friends is Brazilian, and he told me like when you greet somebody in Brazil and you do the kissy kissy part, you don't actually like kiss them on the cheek, but you kind of kiss to the side. But anyhow, I thought that's really interesting. So anyhow, Leonardo da Vinci was on the cutting edge. He was a very creative person for his time. So that's a really interesting expression. After that, guys, we have delightful. If we describe somebody or something as delightful, it gives us a lot of delight. And delight is like joy or happiness, right? If we describe like, hey, this cake that you baked is so delightful. Like it tastes so good, it makes me feel joyful, right? Or my older brother's child, my nephew, he is a delightful little guy, right? He's very polite, he's very nice, and I can have good conversations with him, right? But yeah, delightful is a really good adjective. I think a lot of people tend to think you're exaggerating if you use delightful to describe a person or a thing. But it is a good adjective. So anyhow, after that we got easy, then we got efficient, right? I think we all know what efficient is. So guys, what I think we're gonna do here though is because we're running out of time, how about, well, we're gonna take a break for about 10 minutes. After the break, I think we're gonna continue with this a little bit more. Then we'll take a look at the speaking practice questions, which I hope you guys will help me with, and we'll see how it goes. So let's take a 10-minute break. It's time to go to the bathroom. guys, welcome back to Live PST. You're back with Allan. So again, we are just continuing onwards with this sheet here, brand personality traits. Okay, now like I said before, we're not going to look at each and every word in a lot of detail, but we kind of finished the first column. So let's move on to the second column here at the top. And our first term here is elegant. Elegant. Now, actually, a lot of people have trouble pronouncing this correctly. Remember, elegant does not equal arrogant, right? These two terms have extremely different meanings, right? Elegant, arrogant. Now, remember, if something or somebody is elegant, they're kind of, how do we describe elegant people? Elegant is kind of a tough one. We don't use this very often because somebody that is truly elegant is really special, right? Elegant kind of means like really good manners, good posture, and kind of beautiful, but in a almost royal way. Like, of course, you guys are probably younger than I am, but when I was a little kid, there was Princess Diana from the UK, and she was a very elegant woman, very well dressed, kind of beautiful in a royal way with very good manners, right? If we describe a product as being elegant, it must be kind of beautiful, special, look delicate, right? Arrogant is completely different, right? Arrogant means, overconfident, way too confident to the level where it's kind of disgusting. When I imagine the word arrogant, I always think of the soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo. He is a fantastic player, there is no doubt, one of the greatest soccer players of all time. But I always think that he's a little bit too arrogant. He really loves himself. He thinks he's number one. And maybe he is, but he's just kind of rude. So remember, elegant and arrogant, right? Elegant means a certain kind of beauty with good manners, good posture. Arrogant means something very negative, too confident, confident to the level of disgustingness. Anyhow, moving on, guys. Energetic. If a person is energetic, they have a lot of energy, right? Children are very energetic. They have a lot of energy, right? I am not very energetic. Exclusive, we've talked about before. Next term is familiar, right? If something is familiar to you, you already know about this thing or this person, you have met them before, you have used this product before, right? A familiar restaurant would be a restaurant that seems similar to a restaurant you have been to before, right? For example, when I first went to Korea, when I was younger, of course, all of the restaurants were not very familiar to me. But if I went to a Western-style restaurant, it was familiar for me. But after living in Korea for about a year, when I returned to Canada, if I go to a Korean restaurant here, sometimes it's familiar to me because I've had similar foods back in Korea. Anyhow, after that we have flexible. Everybody knows that if you are flexible, you can move in many different ways, right? So if you want to increase your flexibility, of course you do yoga. People in Vancouver love yoga. Yoga is probably the most popular workout sport. Is it a sport? No, it's not a sport. Maybe not a sport, but kind of workout regime, right? Yoga is super popular in Vancouver, and if you do it, you will become more flexible, right? But if we say, John is very flexible, this can have two different meanings. It can mean that John is physically very flexible, right? He can put his arms behind his head and do all these crazy moves. But it could also mean that he is mentally flexible, in that he's kind of like easygoing, right? Anyhow, after flexible, we have formal and informal, right? Formal dinner party. If you go to a formal dinner party, you should wear a suit or a dress if you're a woman, right? You should dress well. That is formal. Formal is kind of the opposite, of course, of casual. After that, we have fresh to easy, friendly to easy, fun to easy, functional. If we describe a product as being functional, that means it has different functions. It can be used in different ways, right? Human. Well, human we already know. Sometimes we might say a certain computer program is maybe like a human, or it's very human, right? It responds like a human would. Informal, we're okay with because we just took a look at formal. Innovative. Everybody knows that a synonym for innovative, of course, is what? Innovative is similar to a word with C. Does anybody have an idea? Okay, I'm going to wait for your guys' answer, and in the meantime, we'll take a look at inviting. If a restaurant, a store, or a person is described as inviting, right? That restaurant looks very inviting. That store seems very inviting. She seems to be a very inviting person. It means they're very approachable. They're kind of inviting you to talk to them or to enter their restaurant. Please come here. We're very nice people. It's very inviting. So, anyhow, guys, innovative. What is a synonym for innovative? Anybody? Okay, seems like nobody's got an answer right now. Synonym for innovative is basically creative, right? Tesla is a very innovative car company. Samsung is a very innovative electronics producer. Sony is a very innovative large company that makes lots of gaming consoles, right? Something like that. Anyhow, after those two, we have mature. Mature means what? Mature basically means like an adult, right? And the opposite of mature, of course, is immature. And immature has a meaning similar to childish, right? If we describe somebody as being, immature, we're saying they behave like a child, right? An immature adult is always a bad thing, right? If we describe a child as being mature, on the other hand, we're saying that child kind of behaves like an adult. They have good manners, right? Anyhow, so mature and immature. Modern, meaning like today, current, that's good. No nonsense. We describe a product or a person as being no nonsense. It means they're not going to trick you. They're not selling you garbage or lying to you. If a person is no nonsense, it means they just do their job and they tell the truth. So if somebody describes you as a no nonsense person, this is a good thing, right? Okay, guys, so second column, we're done. Let's take a look at the third column briefly because I'm starting to get worried about time and I do want to look at that speaking practice with you. And I'm also going to erase this here. So I hope you guys are able to copy everything that's kind of important. And let's take a look. At the top, we have personable. Personable is a good adjective. If somebody describes you as personable, or of course, if we describe a product as personable, a personable person is somebody that, again, it's kind of like inviting or approachable. This person is easy to talk to, right? They make you feel good when you talk to them, right? Usually, well, I guess it depends on your grandmothers, but usually we imagine the grandma is a very personable person, right? She's talkative, she's warm, she's friendly, she's kind, right? Who is very personable? Of course, a lot of, well, no, it's about 50-50. I've heard that when it comes to Hollywood actors and actresses, some of them are very personable. They're easy to talk to, like I've heard, I think Johnny Depp, but no. Johnny Depp is a good example, but, no, what's his name? Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is really well known for being a super personable guy. Even though he's, really, really rich and a very successful person, he will talk to anybody. He's a really, really nice guy. So we could describe Keanu Reeves as being personable. Johnny Depp too, but Johnny Depp has had some controversy recently with his ex-wife and allegations of abuse. Pretty dirty stuff. But I don't think that he was guilty. But anyhow, moving on to the next one, we have the adjective plain. Now, remember, plain, when we're using plain to describe food, it means, no sauce, no condiment, nothing extra, like a plain burger. A plain burger would have just the meat. It would have no ketchup, no mustard, no pickles, no onions, no nothing, right? Just the bun and the meat, and that would be plain. Now, plain, if we describe a person or a thing as plain, it can also kind of mean boring. So if somebody said, hey, Allan, you're a really plain guy. Basically, they'd be saying like, hey, Allan, you're kind of boring, right? And I'd be like, oh, thank you for telling me that, right? That's kind of rude, but, whatever. So that is plain, right? We often say plain Jane. She is a plain Jane, right? Actually, I'll write that example down. She is a plain Jane. And the meaning of this, a plain Jane, is basically kind of boring or nothing special about her, right? So it's kind of rude, of course, if you describe somebody as a plain Jane. After plain, we have playful. So that's a good adjective, of course. Somebody describes you as playful, it means you're kind of fun to be around, right? You play games, you're fun, right? Puppies are usually very playful, right? They want to play around. Or kittens, right? Or children can be playful, not all the time. After that, guys, we have polished, not polished, right? Polish, people from Poland. But anyhow, polished. If we describe a product as being polished, we're saying it is well made, right? If you said this is a polished product, basically you're saying this is well made or high quality. Right? So anyhow, that is polished. I don't use that expression too much myself. Anyhow, then we have professional, right? If somebody describes you as a professional, you are a pro. You are like an expert at this thing, right? And professional, we all know what the opposite is, right? Professional soccer player, like Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi or whatever. I am not a professional soccer player, obviously, right? Alejandro probably knows the names of many different professional soccer players, right? Especially, I guess, Alejandro, you are from Argentina? I can't remember, but you talked about Argentina, so I'm assuming you're from Argentina. Of course, Argentina has one of the world's best soccer players in Messi, right? He is a professional soccer player. He is not the opposite. He is not an amateur, right? An amateur is somebody who is not a professional, right? I could say that I am an amateur soccer player, right? I just play for fun. I'm not very good. Messi, on the other hand, of course, is a super professional soccer player. Okay, quirky. Quirky is an interesting adjective, actually. Quirky. Quirky means kind of weird. Kind of weird. Now, weird though, like weird means strange, right? But weird doesn't always mean bad, but sometimes it does, right? But when we use quirky as an adjective, we're saying kind of weird, but in a good way, right? So there are lots of people we could describe as quirky, or like quirky kind of strange products, right? But they're strange, but or weird, but in a good way. I'm trying to think of a good example of a person who's very quirky. What is the name of the Harry Potter actor? Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe, I guess, is kind of a quirky guy, right? He's a little bit weird, but in a good way. Actually, my friend and his wife met Daniel Radcliffe about 5 years ago in a karaoke bar in Vancouver, and my friend's wife is a super huge fan of Daniel Radcliffe. So my friend asked for his autograph, and he was really nice. He gave my friend's wife his autograph, but he also sang a song with them, and he paid their entire bill. So he is a really quirky dude, but also a really awesome, super nice guy. I guess. I never met him, but that's what I heard. Okay. You guys are okay with unique, so we're going to skip unique. If something is unique, it's special, it's rare, that's awesome. Reliable is a really awesome adjective, because if somebody says you are a reliable person or reliable worker, that's really good. Reliable means kind of dependable or can be counted on, right? So anyhow, if somebody says you are a reliable person, you are dependable, it means people can trust you to do what you say you're going to do, right? If you say, hey, I'm going to finish this tomorrow, and if you are a reliable person, you will always finish it tomorrow or the next day or whatever, right? If we describe a product as being reliable, it means that product doesn't break easily. The product can last for a long time. And actually, another good adjective to describe a product that doesn't break easily and is reliable is durable, right? So, for example, in Canada, one car brand that has a very good reputation is Toyota, because Toyota cars are known for being reliable, for lasting for a long time and not breaking down. Anyhow, but again, if you describe a thing or a person as being reliable, it's definitely a good thing. It means you can count on them. They're durable, they're strong, they're not going to break. After reliable, guys, we have secure. If something is secure, basically it has the same meaning as safe. So whenever you start a new software application or a new email, you will have to enter a secure password, right? And the password helps your email to remain secure. Anyhow, after that, guys, we have serious. We know what serious means. Somebody's being serious. They're not joking around. They're not making light of a situation. They're just telling you the truth. My boss is sometimes very serious, right? Of course, right? He's the owner of a business. He has to be serious, right? Anyhow, parents can sometimes be serious. I think we're okay with serious. So move on to sleek. Sleek is kind of a tough adjective to describe. I wish I had something visual to show it. Well, you guys already know it's an adjective. I wish I had something visual to show you guys. Sleek means kind of similar to elegant, beautiful, kind of shiny, etc. If I describe, yeah, you can use this to describe people, but I more often use this to describe a product. If we describe a product as being sleek, it looks good. It's a good-looking product. It looks like very smooth, kind of beautiful, right, in a certain way. But guys, sorry, I'm not able to explain sleek very well using words. Please check sleek out in more detail. It's actually better to look at images for examples of sleek. So it might be a good idea, click in or type in sleek on Google and then look at Google Images. Okay, guys, next term is sophisticated. Ooh, that is a nice word for describing people, possibly products, but I use this more to describe people. Sophisticated. Now, synonyms of sophisticated would be like terms like cultured, intelligent, knowledgeable, etc. When we think of sophisticated people, we imagine people that are quite intelligent, maybe speak a couple of different languages, they look nice, they're well dressed, they are sophisticated people, right? I think we like to imagine that, not so much actors, but some rich people are very sophisticated, they like to eat expensive, rare things, they speak multiple languages, they talk about interesting subjects that are very intellectual. So actually, intellectual is another word I should add here. Intellectual. They're very knowledgeable, they know a lot about the world, then we would say they're a sophisticated person, right? Anyhow, if somebody describes you as sophisticated, it's definitely a good thing. Next term for a person or a thing is trustworthy. Worthy of trust. Trustworthy. Now, trust means like if you trust somebody, that means you think they're not going to cheat you, they're not going to lie to you. Of course, we all trust our parents. Well, maybe you don't trust your parents, but most of us, we trust our parents, right? Our parents don't lie to us. They don't try to cheat us. They don't try to do something bad, right? Then it is really quirky. You can watch him acting on. Yeah, Alejandro, very good example. Alejandro just said, that guy, Daniel Radcliffe, is really quirky. Totally agree. You can watch him acting on Swiss Army Man movie. Yeah, actually, I watched part of that movie, and it was really good, but I think my kid was having some kind of trouble, so I had to stop watching, and then I forgot about it. But yeah, that's a good movie. And yeah, Daniel Radcliffe is a very quirky guy. But getting back to trustworthy, if we describe something or somebody, more likely somebody, as being trustworthy, it means you can trust this person or this thing, right? They're not going to lie to you. They're not going to break down. Maybe a company, Tesla is a trustworthy company. They make good products, right? We tend to think that, at least in Canada, we believe that the police are trustworthy. They're not going to lie to us. They're not corrupt. They're not evil, right? And maybe in your life, you know someone who is trustworthy. Maybe it's your brother, maybe it's your sister, a good friend, I don't know. Okay, guys, unconventional. Now, conventional means kind of like normal, right? If something is conventional, it's very normal. If it's unconventional, it's something like unusual, but it doesn't mean in a bad way, right? It just means it's not normal, not usual, right? So unconventional, interesting one. I don't use it too much. Next term we have here is versatile. Versatile has a same or very similar meaning to flexible. If we describe a person or a product as being versatile, it can be used in many different ways, or this person can do many different things. They're very flexible, right? So versatile, good adjective. And last one we have here is warm, right? Now remember, if you describe a person as a restaurant, a business, whatever, as being warm, it doesn't mean that, physically they are like a little bit hot, right? So there's hot, warm, neutral, cool, cold. But if somebody is warm, it's like they're inviting, they're approachable, they're kind, they're nice, right? Usually when I imagine warm, I imagine kind of my grandma in her house inviting me in for cookies, right? And it's just like a very warm atmosphere because my grandma was, unfortunately, a very warm person. Okay, but guys, that list was very extensive. I did go over this list very, very quickly. Remember, not all of these terms here are going to be on your quiz, but what I recommend doing before you take your quiz, which is optional, of course, is reviewing the grammar and reviewing the vocab from today, maybe from Monday, and also from Thursday, I believe, and then taking the quiz maybe on Sunday night, right, before next week's class. Try it out, right? But what we need to do next is some speaking practice. So I gotta erase the board here, guys. Hopefully this was useful for you guys, and hopefully you could see it fairly well. But I'm gonna erase this here. And we're going to move on to speaking practice, which is always a little bit strange doing it online because it just means I'm going to be talking a lot like normal. But let's see how it goes. Okay, guys, so the sheet or the material you want to look at now, it just says speaking practice, sales pitch. Now remember, all the information in this week's classes have been related to marketing, brands, and selling products, right? So the questions we're going to look at here are going to be related to that kind of stuff. So let's take a look, guys, at the very first question. And this is a hard question, actually. This is not easy. This is a question that, English speakers would also have difficulty answering. Maybe I'm going to have difficulty answering this as well. It says, how do brands, products, advertising, and marketing change our shopping habits? I really need to think about this. How do brands, products, advertising, and marketing change our shopping habits? Okay, well, that's a tough question. If I think about it, of course, like I see TV advertisements or advertisements online, right? I think a lot of us don't watch as much TV as we used to, and instead maybe we use the internet much more than we used to. So we probably see more advertisements online these days. Now, how do those ads and how do those brands change our shopping habits? That's a tough one. Well, I would think that if I didn't watch TV advertisements or online ads, and if I didn't think about brands, I think I would be, like, as far as shopping is concerned, I would be very plain. I would just buy essentials, right? I think advertisements, whether that's online or on TV, and brands, I think they give us a desire to purchase things that are maybe not essential, but they make something look attractive and it makes us want to purchase that thing. So I know this answer is kind of boring, but how do shopping, brands, products, advertising, and marketing change our shopping habits? I think they give us a desire to purchase and own things that we wouldn't think about if we didn't see them advertised. Wow, this is really, really tough. So guys, I want you to think about what I'm saying here, because I also struggle to answer this as well. I think my shopping habits, I don't pay that much attention to advertisements, and deep down, I'm sure you guys are like me, you realize that, like, this company is trying to sell this product. They're trying to make it appear to be attractive for me, right? So I should be careful. I shouldn't just buy it because the advertisement was good. But I do think, even if I don't think about it very much, and I think that I'm kind of a careful shopper, I think advertisements still give me this kind of desire to purchase and to own things that I wouldn't really think about if I didn't see it advertised. If I didn't see this advertisement and I saw this product, I don't really know anything about it, I don't care, I just ignore it most likely. But because I've seen it on TV or online, or I've heard about it or whatever, or the brand connected to it is known for being really, really good, I guess it gives me a desire. Now, Alejandro just asked, what are your purchase habits? That's a tough one. For me, I view myself as a kind of cautious shopper. Or like I view myself as someone who only buys things that I think are essential. I need a shirt, so I go buy a shirt. I need some pants, so I buy a pants. I'm not really too concerned about the brand or, how can I say, or how it looks that much, right? Obviously, I'm not an extremely fashionable guy. I don't think I'm not fashionable either. I'm just normal, I guess. My purchasing habits, honestly, I don't like shopping. Every time I go shopping for products with my wife, I always get a headache very, very quickly. So I try to avoid shopping for clothes or products as much as I can. However, even though I think I'm a cautious shopper, I think advertisements do kind of change my brain, and sometimes they give me a desire to purchase something that I wouldn't really think about if I didn't see that advertisement. Actually, I do have a good example right now that I can think of. I don't think you can see the the advertisements right now, but starting like about 1 month ago, for about 2 weeks, there were, every time I went to YouTube and I watched a video, there would be an advertisement for this razor, this electric razor, and it was called Manscaped. And it's a special razor for getting rid of body hair. Like, it's not really meant for your face, it's more meant for your body. And that's not something I usually be interested in, and like without revealing too much about myself, I'm part French. So I don't know about you guys, but in Canada and America we have a stereotype that French people are quite hairy. So I'm a little bit hairy, right? And I saw this advertisement for this electric razor, and it's waterproof. Wow, you can use it in the shower, and it's really it's really gentle. It doesn't hurt. So I saw this and I thought, that's not a bad product, right? Maybe I'd like to buy that. So that advertisement gave me a desire to own that product, because I didn't really think like, shaving or getting rid of body hair is not essential for me, but it would be nice. So maybe I'll buy that product. So I am not immune to advertising. Advertising does work on me as well, although I try to be the kind of guy that just buys essential things. Because that depends what you're looking for, and the advertisements try to change on you. Yes, that's right, Alejandro. Yeah, advertisements try to change your shopping behavior, right? And I think, again, I'm a cautious guy, but advertisements do work on me sometimes, right? That's just how it is. Anyhow, guys, let's take a look at number 2. How have people's behavior changed as a result of consumerism? This is another pretty hard question, right? And this is kind of deep. Now, consumerism is the idea of consuming, right? We all live, now maybe not all of us, I'm not sure where everybody who is watching, where everybody is from. But I know, Alejandro, I guess you're from You're from Argentina, and An and James and Ji and Kim, I believe you're from Korea. So we live in capitalist, consumerist cultures, right? And consumerist means we want to consume, we want to buy products. Now, how have people's behaviors changed as a result of consumerism? Before consumerism, that would be such a long time ago, in a time that I didn't exist, right? Consumerism and the capitalist economy have, existed in Canada for at least 100 years. So I don't know how people really behaved before that, but I think it's probably similar to what I view myself as a consumer. I think in the past, people just bought things that were essential. And now, a lot of people buy things that are maybe not essential, but it's been advertised to them. And these advertisements have given people a desire for things that, they wouldn't have if they never saw the advertisement. So how have people's behavior changed as a result of consumerism? I think, yeah, people have become more sophisticated consumers who are much more concerned about product quality and brand. I think in the past, people probably weren't very concerned about the brand or the quality of a product so much, right? But now, since we live in this kind of hyper-capitalist, consumerist age, I think people are very aware of advertising and these kind of things, and we are concerned about the quality, the brand of the product that we're going to buy, right? Yeah, I guess that's the change. That would be my guess. That's a really hard question, but let's take a look at number 3. Have festivals such as Christmas, New Year's Day, Easter, and Valentine's Day become opportunities to sell products? I think the answer to this one is very, very obvious. Let's think about that question again, though. Have festivals such as Christmas, New Year's Day not so much though, Easter and Valentine's Day become opportunities for companies to sell products? Yes, definitely. I would say yes, definitely. Without a doubt. There is no doubt in my mind, right, that companies use festivals or holidays like Christmas to sell products. Of course, I don't blame them, right? The only one I disagree with is New Year's Day. New Year's Day is not really known as some kind of advertising or shopping day in Canada or the United States. It's not known for that. Christmas, of course, is number one. The biggest holiday of the year in Canada and America and many other countries in the world, of course, probably Argentina as well. Korea, I think, kind of important, but not as big as Chuseok, so now, yeah. But anyhow, yeah, for sure, companies will take the opportunity to try to sell more products during Christmas and Easter. Easter is a pretty big one here too. Of course, you have to buy chocolate, right? Valentine's Day, again, chocolate, flowers, cards, special underwear. I don't know if you're married, right? Or in a long-term relationship. But yeah, New Year's Day, no, that is not really a shopping holiday here. I think in Japan, though, I think New Year's Day is really big for that. And of course, I know Lunar New Year's in Korea and maybe also China and some other countries is also a pretty big holiday. And I believe the older people give money to younger people. I don't think it's a present, but I think it's money, so that's pretty awesome. But anyhow, number 4, is it possible to be green or conscious of the environment while being a consumer? Ooh, okay. Yes, I would say it is. Yes, you can be green. So remember, green here kind of means like environmentally aware, like aware of the consequences of buying products and the impact that they have on the environment. Yes, you can be green and a consumer at the same time. If I explain that in more detail, what I mean here is, I think these days many companies are aware that people are concerned about the environment, right? So they're trying to make products that are easier to recycle. A good example of this happened about 1 year ago or 2 years ago. No, about a year ago in Canada and America and many other countries in the world. and that was the kind of debate about plastic straws, right? So of course, we like to use straws when we drink something, right? Whether that's Coca-Cola or an iced coffee or whatever it is, right? We often use a plastic straw. But there were a lot of environmentalists saying that plastic straws are really bad because plastic straws go into the ocean or the river or a lake, and then fish or whales or dolphins or whatever consume them, and it hurts those dolphins, whales, fish, or whatever it is, and it makes the ocean a worse place, and it's disgusting, and it's basically just garbage and pollution. So a lot of companies, and there was a lot of public pressure on, well, in Canada, kind of on the government, but also just on companies. But a lot of companies were pretty good. They listened to the people. They saw that people don't like using plastic straws anymore or plastic spoons, so they switched to using paper straws, right? So if I go to Starbucks or if I go down to 7-Eleven and I get a drink, I cannot use a plastic straw anymore. I have to use a paper straw. Now, I'm going to be honest here. Paper straws kind of suck. They're not as good, right? They go bad very, very quickly. So I don't actually like paper straws so much. So my solution is I just don't use a straw, right? And I think that's a good thing. I don't think the plastic straws made a lot of pollution, but yeah, I think it's good to get rid of that. So I do think that you can be conscious of the environment. You can be environmentally aware or green and be a consumer at the same time. Like, and another example would be Tesla cars, right? Tesla cars, of course, are famous for being electric and not using gas, right? So if we purchase a Tesla car, first off, we don't have to ever pay for gas. So in the long run, we might actually save money, even though Tesla cars are pretty expensive. But also, we're helping the environment, right? We're not creating pollution when we drive a Tesla car. Now, there are people who would say, like, it depends on where you're getting the electricity from. This is totally true. If you live in a city where there is a coal-burning power plant, and that's where you're getting electricity from, then basically the electricity you're using in your car comes from dirty, coal, right? And so that's not really helping. But if I think about British Columbia, the province I live in, almost all of the energy in BC comes from hydroelectricity. It comes from hydroelectric dams that are placed in rivers, and they're making energy from just water. So actually a lot of the electricity, like here, running the lights here, the computer, the monitor, and the camera, is actually clean energy. It's just coming from water from a river, from a hydroelectric dam. So I think if you were driving a Tesla here, good for you, right? It's coming from clean energy. You don't have to worry about it. So anyhow, sorry guys, I'm talking too much. But number 4, I think you can be a green or environmentally conscious person and be a consumer at the same time. Okay, number 5. Can you remember the last gift you were given? What was it? Do you ever buy presents for yourself? That sounds weird. Anyhow, can I remember the last gift I was given? No. Let me think. Give me a second here. Okay, my birthday's in October, so that's a pretty long time away. Of course, actually, my brother and sister gave me some wireless earbuds, and pretty good. I'm very grateful that they gave that to me. But besides that, oh man, I really can't remember. Okay, I'm gonna be boring and maybe a little bit sentimental, but the last gift I received, actually let's use the original verb. I was given was from my daughter. oops, from my 2-year-old daughter. She gave me half of a muffin that she was eating. Okay, I know this is kind of a boring example, but my daughter, I was surprised she did this. My daughter gave me half of this muffin that she was eating. And I felt like it was like really a gift because I was pretty happy she gave it to me. I'm like, okay, good, she's sharing, right? But the second part of the question, do you ever buy presents for yourself? Do I buy presents for myself? No, that's so weird. No, I don't buy presents for myself. Maybe I did in the past, you know, but no, I've got 2 daughters. I have a wife. I don't have time to buy things for myself. Yeah, I don't buy presents for myself. I don't blame people who do. I think shopping therapy is a real thing. To make yourself feel better. If you need something, you need to get it anyhow, it's okay. But no, I don't buy presents for myself. Okay, let's take a look at one more question, guys, here before we take a break. Do you spend more money on temporary things, services, food, drinks, a good night out, or on physical objects, a car, a cell phone, some good books? That's a good question. I probably, unfortunately, spend more money on temporary things. Like, you know, not every day. But, you know, I quite often buy a coffee from Tim Hortons or Starbucks or something, right? Or maybe these days my wife and I, we probably actually, since our second daughter was born, I think we eat out, but not actually eat out. We order food, right? And have it delivered. But before maybe my daughter was born, we did that maybe once a month. My wife and I are kind of thrifty or frugal. Thrifty is a really good term, actually. Thrifty. Sorry, that looks kind of messy. Thrifty is an adjective. It means kind of like careful with money. You know, you don't spend a lot of money. You're kind of careful with it. You want to save money. If you're a thrifty person, you will save money. So anyhow, my wife and I are kind of thrifty. So we used to only eat out maybe once a month, but now with my second daughter, you know, it can be kind of stressful. We spend a lot of time at home, and it's hard for us to cook sometimes. Like these days, I'm doing more of the cooking, but it's still kind of hard to find the time to cook because with 2 daughters, one being very young, it's really rough. So anyhow, we eat out, order out maybe once a week. So yeah, I probably spend more money on temporary things, which is actually not good. So I think after my daughter grows up and it's easier to deal with her, I'll try to cut that habit and consume less coffee or food or whatever it is, right? Okay, guys, but we're gonna look at the other questions after the break here, but we'll take a break. We'll continue with these questions and then we'll do our elective today. I'm not too concerned about the elective, honestly. It's kind of more just for fun. But yeah, let's take a break and I'll see you again in 10 minutes. PST. We are continuing with the speaking practice for a little bit. Then we will move on to our elective material. So guys, we were on number 7. This is actually a good question. I view this as like kind of a more normal question. Anyhow, it says, what is your most valued possession? This can be, or this can also be a sentimental, inexpensive item that you really cherish. So cherish is an interesting verb, right? We don't often use the verb cherish, but to cherish something means to try to hold something close to you. Like it has a lot of meaning to you, right? Of course, we all cherish the relationship that we have with our loved ones, whether that's our parents, our brothers and sisters, our girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, or husband, right? But in this case, it's just asking you about a possession, something that you own. What is your most valued possession? So if you guys can think of an answer and type it out, that would be interesting for me. I'm trying to think here. This is a good question, but kind of a hard question for me. I can't, off the top of my head, think what is my most valued possession. Man, this is really tough. What is my most valued possession? Okay. This is going to be kind of a boring answer, but my wedding ring is my most valued possession. Okay. Honestly, that's true. Now, if you're married like I am, of course, you have a wedding ring. My wedding ring is not expensive. It's, I don't know how much it was actually. But to me, my wedding ring is my most valued possession. It's a symbol of, my relationship with my wife and our family. So I just view this as really, really important. And of course, there have been a couple of times where I've taken it off. When I take a shower, I usually take it off because, well, people say the water won't damage it, but, still I think it's best to be careful. So I always take it off when I do dishes or shower or something like that. And there have been a few times where maybe I left it at home and I went to work and I forgot about it and I really worry about it. And I always think like, oh my God, where's my wedding ring? Where's my wedding ring? Because to me, it is really important. It's more important to me than any other possession that I have. Not more important than family members, but when it comes to actual items, I would say my wedding ring is probably by far the most important thing that I own. There's a lot of sentimental attachment to it, and I really cherish it because it's a symbol of my relationship with my wife. Anyhow, guys, number 8. What do you do with old possessions? Where do you store them? Good question. The second part of the question is not interesting, but what do you do with old possessions? Generally, now I'm going to start by saying generally speaking, which kind of means like in general. Generally speaking, I tend to hold on to my old possessions until my wife tells me to get rid of them. So actually, this is probably one of my wife's pet peeves, or something that upsets my wife, is that I tend to hold on to things for too long. And this could be with old electronics or furniture or clothing. Yeah, but some of my pairs of socks have holes in them, and it really, really upsets my wife. So I think my wife just throws them in the garbage and she doesn't tell me about it, which makes me kind of sad because I always think like, hey, those socks had a hole in them, but they were still good socks, right? But anyhow, that's just me. Where do you store them? Of course, I usually just store old possessions in our apartment, but our apartment's not very big, so that's a big problem. So my wife and I imagine that we're going to be moving out in probably for October to a new apartment. At the time, we will have to do a lot of cleanup, and I will probably be throwing out a lot of garbage, right? A lot of my old possessions will have to be thrown in the garbage, unfortunately. So anyhow, but yeah, I tend to hold on to things for far too long. Number 9, do you find advertising persuasive? Have you ever bought a certain product because of the advertisement that you saw or heard? I have, but I think I try not to be persuaded by advertisements. So I kind of said that before, but I try not to be persuaded by advertisements, but I think I am sometimes. But I would say I am not usually persuaded by, I'm just going to write here ads for short for advertisements, right? However, in the past, I have bought items because of ads. Actually, I talked about one item that I did buy before. I think that was on Monday when I talked about it. Yeah, of course it was on Monday. It was the slap chop, the cooking item, right? Where you slap something and it cuts things up. Actually, I bought that for my older brother, but I bought that because the advertisement was really funny. I thought it was clever, and I thought it would be a good product. So I bought it for my older brother, and like I told you guys before, he used it twice and then it broke. And so I guess I wasted like $20, $25 on that, but that's okay. Last question. What gets you interested in an advertisement? In your opinion, what is the best form of advertisement? For example, television, magazine, radio, the internet, etc. What gets me interested in an advertisement? Again, I try not to be persuaded by advertisements, so it's really hard. But to be honest, humor gets me interested in ads and products. I think when I'm interested in a product, it starts with an advertisement first that's kind of funny or clever or creative, right? But humor is probably number 1 for me. And if it can make me laugh or if I think it's funny, then I remember that product. And then if I think maybe that's a good product, then I will do my own research and I will research online, like, is this actually a good product? And I will look at customer reviews. Of course, you can't always trust customer reviews because a lot of companies will write their own reviews or pay people to write reviews for them, so you have to be careful. But I think initially when I am interested in a product, a lot of the time it actually comes from humor first. And I know that's kind of silly, but after this I will do a lot of research on the product and try to find out, is this a good, reliable product? Is it functional? Is it efficient? Does it work? You know, yada yada. But humor is probably the first thing for me, honestly. I know that's kind of silly, but it's true. And in your opinion, what is the best form of advertising? The best form of advertising, in my opinion, is for me it's like online videos. Online video advertisements on sites like YouTube, because I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't actually pay for cable, so I don't watch TV. I only watch TV if I'm watching Netflix, right? And they don't have advertisements, so which is actually really, really awesome, right? But for me, yeah, probably the best are online videos on YouTube or something. Magazines, of course, no. Like most Canadians, I don't read magazines anymore. Not that I hate magazines, but you know, why pay for a magazine when you could just find this stuff online? Radio, I don't listen to the radio because I don't drive very often, so I'm not a big fan. Internet, like banners, no, I hate, no. Internet online videos, like through YouTube, totally fine. I'm okay with that. But I hate pop-ups. I hate, you know, advertisements when I'm on a web page. It's actually really annoying. For me, it's a huge turn-off, actually. So I hate that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's about it, guys. So these questions here, pretty interesting questions all about advertising. These questions are not easy. I do think it's a good idea at home to think about these questions and think about how you would respond to them. This is supposed to be speaking practice, of course, but you could also do writing practice with this as well. These questions are hard, though. Try your best and think about it. If you have somebody that you can practice with, that would be ideal. That would be the best way to do this, right? But guys, our last thing for today, our elective material, which is very interesting, but also kind of hard at the same time, is brand logo quiz. Wow. Okay, guys, so this is really cool, actually. Also, there is an answer key included here, so please don't look at the answer key right now. But take a look. You've got how many sheets? I think about 6 sheets here. And, you know, I'm not an expert when it comes to logos and this kind of stuff. I think I'll know most of these. I know some of these. Oh my God, actually, I probably only know about half of these. So I might not know them very well either. But this is pretty interesting. Here, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there are 5 of them. And I think, now I printed it off without color. I hope you guys look at the color version of this because that'll make it more interesting. So take a look at the first one. You know, we've got this thing here, and I'm going to describe it in a second. But what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to look at these logos here and then label them. You're also supposed to describe them using adjectives, and then you're supposed to label them, right? So if we take a look at the first sheet, guys, at the top left. Now, my opinion would be don't look at the colors or don't pay attention to the colors too much. Because actually, the colors that they're using here, guys, they're trying to confuse you, right? They're not actually using the correct colors because they're trying to trick you, right? So look more just at the image, the shape, right? Don't look at the colors because they're trying to trick you. So anyhow, look at the first one, the top left. Now, how would you describe this? Now, my description of this would be, it looks like a shell, right? A shell with a border around it. Now, I know what the original colors are. I think the border around the shell is red, and then the shell itself is yellow. What company is that? Does anybody have an idea? What is the name of this company? So guys, let's start top left, and then we're just going to move from right to bottom and keep going like this. Again, some of these I know, some of them I don't know. I know this one, and actually I know the first line. Second line, not too bad. Yeah. I don't know all of these. The bottom line in the middle is super easy. But starting at the first line, top left, if you don't know the name of the company, this is Shell. Now, probably if you live in Asia, because I don't think Shell is very active in Asia, you might not know them. But Shell is a Anglo-Dutch oil company. Anglo means English. English, Dutch. This is partly, I think the headquarters are both in London and Amsterdam. It's 50-50. It's a English and Dutch company. They are one of the largest producers of oil in the world. They're very active in Canada and the United States, and of course, especially in Europe, Africa, etc., Middle East, of course. But yes, this is Shell. Okay, so there's Shell. They own also a lot of gas stations. Anyhow, so this is Shell. Next one is, now if you look at this, you might be able to guess. You'll see like an English W and then like a number and then many different symbols. Some of them appear to be Chinese or Hindi, Arab, Japanese, yeah, and some other ones. This one, it looks like a globe and it looks like a kind of a puzzle globe. And we can see symbols and letters here. And some of the puzzles at the top are missing. But this is the logo for one of my favorite, I think technically it is a company, but one of my favorite companies because they don't charge you anything to use their service, not their product, but to use their service online. And 20 years ago, we would say that, you know, you shouldn't use this so much, it's not very good. But now it's actually really, really good. And even a lot of university professors say like, oh yeah, it's improved a lot. Lots of university students or just students in any kind of school or class will use this site. It's Wikipedia, right? Now Wikipedia, like I said in the past, it didn't always use the best sources, but now they're actually like really, really good. So yeah, this is Wikipedia. Wikipedia, I believe, was made by an American. So it is technically an American company. Anyhow, guys, third one is another big American group. They actually tried to open stores, so there's a hint, it is a store. They tried to open stores in Canada about 3-4 years ago, and they closed after just 1 or 2 years. They're very similar to Walmart. And if you look at this, of course, it's a circle, and then there is another circle inside the circle. Now, the original color of the circle is red. Same with the circle inside of it is another red one with a white circle as well. So this looks like something that you would shoot at, right? And what is something you shoot at with a circle in it called? It's called a target, right? So this is the American company Target, which is similar to Walmart but higher quality. So there's Target. Next one, too simple. What does it look like? Looks like an apple, but somebody took a bite out of the apple. Who is this? Everybody knows this one. It's too easy. It's Apple Computers, right? Which is, again, American. Okay, and lastly, we have this logo of, it looks like an Italian guy with a bow tie and a mustache. What company is this? It's famous for a certain food product, for some chips. Does anybody know? Starts with a P. I believe they're also American. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is American. It's Pringles. Okay, guys, moving on to the second line here. We have a kind of border in the background, and in the middle you have what looks like a bell. Ding, 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 ding. And what is that? This is a very famous Mexican-American fast food company. Do you guys know any Mexican? Yeah, Gian Kim. Yes, Pringles. You got it. Awesome. Yeah. Pringles. Yeah, they're pretty good, right? Yeah, and Pringles, I think that's worldwide. Like you can get, I remember Pringles in Korea, and I think Pringles are in Japan, and I'm sure in South America too. I could be wrong. But anyhow, so second line, guys, the Bell is a Mexican-American fast food company. They're called Taco Bell. So it is American. I guess I could say Mexican-American, but it is American. Taco Bell. Wow, Jian. Did they have Taco Bell in Korea? How do you know that? And Taco Bell is not common in Canada either. Like, I don't think there's a Taco Bell in Vancouver. There could be. It's not bad if you've tried Taco Bell. It's not terrible. It's not real Mexican food. It's like Mexican-American food. You know, like burrito, tacos, taco salad, that kind of stuff. But it's kind of, it looks really bad. The food itself looks bad. It tastes okay, and it's relatively cheap, but oh, I'm surprised you knew that. Maybe there's Taco Bell in Korea. I had no idea. Okay, anyhow, guys, next one. You guys got to know the next one. Very famous clothing, apparel, footwear company. I actually think they're not from America. I'm pretty sure this is German. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's German. Does anybody know these three kind of sideway bars, right? Except they're cut. And the first one is small, the middle one's a bit bigger, and the last one is the biggest. Yes, Jian, you got it. It is Adidas. Awesome. Okay, now, I think Adidas is German. I could be wrong. So, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to use my phone for a second. I really want to find out if Adidas is German or... Like, I'm pretty sure this is not American. If it's not German, it's from somewhere else in Europe. Adidas. Now, of course, Adidas is popular in Canada. Yeah, Adidas is German. Yeah. Headquartered in Herzogenaurach, Germany. What? I don't even know what city that is in Germany. But anyhow, yes, Adidas is German. And I hope you guys know, like, the actual meaning of Adidas is really, really interesting. It stands for All Day I Dream About Sports, right? Because it is a sporting apparel and footwear company. Yeah. Good. Alejandro, yes. German, yes. Yeah. So Adidas is German, but actually I looked that up anyhow. And one of the most successful, by far, apparel companies, right? Okay, guys, let's take a look at the next one. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I don't know what this is. I have no idea. Honestly, to me, it kind of looks like a fish. Like at the back of the fish, there's the fin. And at the top, it looks like this fish has like, I don't know, spikes or hair, and then a flipper, and then no head. I have no idea what company this is. I'm going to have to look at the answer key. Do you guys know? What logo is this? What company does this represent? Anybody? I know Adidas was kind of easy, right? What is this one? What? Yeah, really, seriously, what is this one? I have no idea. Okay, I just looked at the answer, guys. I'm sorry, I'm cheating. This is called Jet Punk. Do you guys know Jet Punk? I have no idea what Jet Punk is. So, again, I'm going to use my phone here because I got no idea. I know that's cheating. Even I don't know. It's not like I'm some kind of brand genius, right? Jet Punk. Okay, Jet Punk. Okay, actually, there's not a lot of information here. Jet Punk, Wikipedia. Okay, guys. Can't find a lot of information. Oh, Alejandro, thanks. That is a Seattle, Washington website. So I guess what Jetpunk is, and I just discovered, is a trivia media quiz. Like, this is just an online site that's maybe designed to kind of quiz you on things. I wish I read more into it. Alejandro, thanks for the information. So it is American. It's from Seattle. Sounds like it's some kind of online, it's a geek website. Thanks, Alejandro. So yeah, it's a geek website. It's for people who like trivia and that kind of stuff. So it's very close to Vancouver if it's just in Seattle. Okay, but yeah, honestly, I don't know why they were included here. I've never heard of them before. That's really cool, but are they really a big company? I don't know. I really never heard of them. Maybe I'm just getting too old. I don't know. Okay, guys, but the next one, we should know what this is. You gotta know what the next one is. It's not as big as its competitor. Well, actually, it owns a number of food companies, so it is a pretty big company. It's an interesting one. This is a beverage company. They make beverages, they make drinks. What is this one here? It's a circle with a white kind of stripe going through it. I think the colors they show you, yes, Jian, you nailed it, you got it. It's Pepsi. Now, actually, I know a lot of people outside of America and Canada actually don't know very much about Pepsi, because Pepsi, of course, is the cola. But actually, Pepsi is a very powerful corporation, because Pepsi doesn't just sell Pepsi Cola, which would make it a big company anyhow, but Pepsi also owns a number of different restaurant groups. So actually, Pepsi owns Taco Bell. They own Pizza Hut. They own Taco Bell, Pizza Hut. They own another one, maybe Subway, I can't remember. But Pepsi is a very large beverage company that actually controls many different restaurant chains as well. So yes, there's Pepsi. Okay, guys, and the last one here on the second column is what? You can see an A here. I think they're helping you out too much. And it's got these three kind of stripes. This is a really cool company. They still exist. They were much bigger in the past. And by past, I mean like 40 years ago, 50, 40 years ago. They actually make video games, and they used to make video game consoles. But then I think Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft really took over that industry, and this company stopped selling consoles in the past. I think they still might make some games, but I don't know. Does anybody know? Starts with an A. It is Atari. And I believe Atari is American, but please double check. I don't know why I'm writing down the nationality of each company here. I guess this just shows you that actually Americans have a lot of different companies, or at least a lot of different popular companies anyhow. But Atari, you guys might not know it, is not really a big company anymore. Okay, let's take a look at the third one here, guys. On the left, I actually know what company this is. I don't consume their products because I don't believe in this kind of stuff. Does anybody see we have a square black background, and then we have like 3 scratches through it. So it looks like an animal used its claws to kind of scratch this. Does anybody know what company this is? This is who? Starts with an M. Maybe this thing was the thing that clawed the black background. It is Monster. And yeah, Monster energy drink. Yeah, Jian. Whoa, Jian, you are on fire. Be careful. Don't burn yourself, right? Monster energy drinks. Yes. So Monster is one of the largest producers of energy drinks in the world. Of course, Red Bull is probably the most commonly known one, but actually Monster is number 2. Monster, I believe, is American. I could be wrong again, but yeah, Monster. I don't believe in energy drinks, though. I think they're kind of disgusting. I've had them before, of course. I think it gives you too much energy to the point where you start to feel sick. Anyhow, what's the next one, guys? After Monster, we have what looks like, now this should be a hint. It looks like, you know, standing up there is a P, and then on the ground, kind of in the background there, is an S. PS, like at the end of a letter. PS, you know, yada yada, right? What is this? Now, finally, this is not an American company. This is also not a European company. This company is from Asia. Yeah, Jian. Wow, Jian, you are again on fire. Okay, PlayStation, yes. And of course, that is from Sony, and that is Japanese, right? And I think the PlayStation is maybe the most popular video game console. I could be wrong, but I think it's maybe the most popular. That or Nintendo, maybe Microsoft, I'm not sure. But PlayStation is the most popular. And I know near the end of this year, they're going to release PlayStation 5. Wow! Can you imagine the graphics? I can't, but it doesn't matter. I can't play it because if I bought it, my wife would kill me. Anyhow, so we got PlayStation, and then, okay, I definitely know what this one is. This one's too easy for me. So if you guys look at the one in the middle, we've got this red, sorry, well, that is actually the color. But anyhow, there is a circle here, and in the circle, there is a hat. And actually, I've mentioned this company previously. This one is obviously American. You have this company in Korea. You have it in Japan. It's in America. It's in Canada. Yes, Jian. Whoa, you are really on fire. Pizza Hut. Yeah, which is again an American company, but actually controlled by Pepsi. Pepsi controls Pizza Hut for whatever reason. All right, awesome. Okay, next to Pizza Hut, we have the A, right? We have an A, and then we have like a swish, a little swish with an arrow at the bottom here. What is this? What is this? You guys probably don't use this in Korea. You might use it, actually you do use this in Japan. You don't use it in Korea very much. I don't think so. Very popular in America. Popular in the UK. Popular in many, yes. Wow, Jian, again, you are like some kind of business master. It is Amazon, right? Amazon probably, I think it is the world's, I could be wrong, but I think it is the world's largest online retailer. That, or I think one of the ones in China might be a little bit larger, but I'm not exactly sure. Honestly though, Amazon in Canada is not very good. I'm just gonna be totally honest here. Because if you live in a big city in Canada, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Ottawa, Calgary, Edmonton, it's better just to go shopping in the city because actually it's usually cheaper than buying it on Amazon. If you live in the countryside in Canada, Amazon can be all right because then, you know, if you live in the countryside, you don't have access to a lot of big stores. But delivery times in Canada take so long because Canada is such a big company. If I order something from Amazon, sometimes that product, because I'm living in Vancouver, but sometimes the product is coming from Ontario. Ontario is really far away. So if I have to wait for the product to be delivered to me, it can take like 2 weeks. So Amazon Canada, I'm sorry, but I give it one thumb down. If you're living in the United States, Amazon is super awesome. It's cheap and it's fast. Also, if you live in Japan, I also know it's relatively cheap and fast, but Canada, not that good. Korea, I don't know actually. I know in Korea you guys have many of your own online sites. Okay, but next to Amazon, this one is really, really tough. This is not American. This is not Asian. This is European. Actually, this is British to be exact. And actually, I just kind of gave you a hint. This is BP. And BP stands for British Petroleum. British people call oil and gas petrol or petroleum. And BP is a very large Anglo oil company or British oil company. I don't like BP because a long time ago, if you guys can remember, you guys might be too young, but a long time ago in the Caribbean, they had an offshore oil rig and the pipe broke and it spilled out a lot of oil and did a lot of environmental damage to the Caribbean and to the south of the United States. And British Petroleum was like, oh, hey, sorry about that. And like, here's a little bit of money, and yeah, we're sorry about that. So I think they're a pretty crappy company. I don't like British Petroleum. Maybe I'm rude. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. The next line here, I'm going to be terribly honest. I only know 2 out of 5 of these, but I do have the answer key. Does anybody know the one on the bottom left? It looks like a D, and it starts with a D. So we got a black box, and we got a white D. Do you know the reason due to delivery time in Canada is too long? Oh, Alejandro, okay. So Alejandro just asked, like, do you know the reason due to delivery time in Canada is too long? Well, I kind of talked about that before, but Alejandro, the one reason why the delivery time in Canada takes so long is, well, I would say there are two reasons. One of them good, one of them not so good. Okay, first one. The main valid reason why things take so long to be delivered in Canada is because if you order a product, let's say in Vancouver, the product might be coming from Quebec. I don't know if this is the correct form to ask this. No, Alejandro, that's okay. But if I were you, I would reword your question, Alejandro. The question should be written like this. Give me a second. Let's erase the top 2 lines here. Do you know the reason due to delivery time in Canada? So your question, Alejandro, would be better to say, do you know why it takes so long to have, or actually, let's say to receive a delivery in Canada? Now, actually, there are many other ways you could form this question, but this way would be good. So, do you know why it takes so long to receive a delivery in Canada? Yes, like I said before, there are 2 reasons. One, Canada is just too big, right? It is a huge country. So sometimes when you order something from one side of the country, like Vancouver, it might be coming from Ontario. And Ontario is kind of like Canada's largest and most populous province. So a lot of products will come from Ontario. That might be coming from Toronto, Markham, Ontario, London, Ontario, Hamilton, It might be coming from Quebec, right? Which is also even further away from Vancouver. Like if I drive from Vancouver to Toronto, if I drive in a car, it will take me 3 or 4 days at least, right? And if I get there in 3 days, that's pretty insane. Like that would mean I'm really not sleeping very much. I'm just like driving 12 to 16 hours a day. So one reason why it takes so long for products to be delivered is because the country is just too big. Second reason is regulations and rules and taxes and things like this. I think in Canada, there's just so much bureaucracy and regulations that have to be followed. And I think it really slows down the processing time. I think things take too long to process, but basically number one, the country is just too big. Okay, so anyhow, getting back to this one here, this looks like a black box, and then we have a white. It looks like a D, and to me it looks like a C, but I don't really know what this is. I think this is a company that makes sound equipment, like stereos and stuff like that. I think you guys probably don't know. This is the 5th line, so, oh wait, sorry, not 5th, this is 4th. And this will probably be our last one, guys, because we're kind of running out of time. Do you guys know, does anybody know this one? This might not be famous in your country. I think this is just a little bit famous in Canada and America, but I'm not really familiar with them. And actually, I didn't know what this is. I had to check the answer key. This is a company called Dolby. And I believe Dolby is American. I didn't double check that, but I believe Dolby is American. Dolby makes, again, sound equipment, stereos, that kind of stuff. At least I'm pretty sure. I'm probably going to double check that later today. Anyhow, guys, next one here. Oh, God. I really don't know what company this is, but it looks like a kind of crest, like a shield, and then inside we have an F. Does anybody know? Now, actually, I'm going to double check this one because I don't know the origin of this company. I believe this company makes tires. And equipment for cars. Oh, it is American. Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe actually from Japan. But this is Firestone. So they make tires for cars and other tire equipment. Not very interesting. Yeah, let's just move on. Okay, so Firestone, and then, okay, Alejandro or Gian or anybody, you gotta know which logo this is. What is the next one? We've got this guy with that kind of special bow tie, and he's got glasses and a beard. He is definitely American. I don't know why I know he's American, but, well, he is American. He was American. He has unfortunately passed away. Does anybody know? Come on. You guys know this guy's famous for his chicken, his special recipe for chicken. Of course, this is KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. All right, Gian, you're back. You nailed it. KFC. Whoa, you even spelt it correctly. Well done. Okay, so Kentucky. Let's take a look at the next one, guys. Next one is actually famous for copy machines and printer, not coffee machines, sorry, copy machines. Printers and copy machines, and I think some other products. I'm pretty sure they're American. I'm gonna double check. This company starts with an X. Then they're a large company. They do a lot of business. Yeah, American Corporation. Okay, so not exciting. I really want to see something different. There are just too many American companies on this list. This is the American company Xerox. And Xerox, they make, again, copy machines, printers, this kind of stuff. But they're not interesting. So let's move on to the next one, guys. I have no idea who this is. But I just saw the answer key. This is an awesome company, in my opinion. They do make a lot of different products. In Canada, they're most famous for motorcycles, but they're also pretty famous for pianos. Does anybody know who this is? Now, the symbol itself is very hard to describe, right? We've got a circle with a black circle on the inside, and we have some, I don't know how you would describe them, 3. One going upwards and 2 coming down in a cross pattern, and they look like kind of weird spears. This is a very famous company, but I don't really have any of their products right now, and I haven't thought about this company for a long time. But if I wanted to buy a piano, I would probably go to this company. If I wanted a motorcycle, I would go to this company. This is Yamaha. Yamaha, which of course is Japanese, right? Yamaha, pretty well-known company. Okay, guys, so we still have some time. Of course, there are way too many different ones here to look at. If you guys turn to the brand logo quiz 2, oh, this one's much easier. At least the first line is way easier. If you take a look at the top left, we have like the mermaid lady with a crown on top. Of course, that is what? Jian, you gotta know this one. Take a look at the next sheet, Jian. What's the first one? You see the lady with the hair, and then she's got the crown, or Alejandro, do you know? Take a look, take a look, take a look. Technically, that would be kind of like the 5th line. Come on, Gian, you paying attention? Alejandro, no, nobody's got an answer. Okay, all right, but don't worry about it. Of course, that is good old Starbucks, right? Starbucks, Microsoft, Google. I think the next one is called Snapchat. I never used it. Fila? What is the next one? Is that Fila? Oh no, the North Face. Damn it, I should have known that. Anyhow, guys, but we're gonna stop it there. That's just for fun. If you've got extra time, maybe you guys try to think about them. It's just for fun, of course, but check them out. There is also the answer key attached to this, so you can see all the answers. Like, honestly, I don't know what all these are, right? Like, I think I know about 70%, 60 to 70%, but I don't know all these ones here. So it might be interesting for you guys to check them out. But more important than that is you guys are able to take your quiz after this class. Now remember, the quiz has a written portion and a speaking portion. For the speaking portion, you'll have to record it and email the speaking portion to us. Now remember, the quiz is going to be based upon this week's grammar, topic, and vocab. So what I would recommend doing is don't take the quiz today, right? Maybe don't even take it tomorrow, but when you have time this weekend, review the vocab, review the grammar, and keep the topic of like advertising and selling stuff in mind, and then take the quiz when you feel like you've done enough review, right? So, but Jun and Alejandro and James, thank you for joining and making comments. It makes the class like more interesting for me. But yeah, that's about it for this week. You guys will see me again next week on Monday and Friday. And of course, you'll see Melanie on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I wish you guys a happy and healthy, that sounds weird, happy and healthy weekend. I don't know if you guys are in Vancouver. If you are, well, actually, regardless of where you are, of course, stay safe. You know, let's be careful about COVID-19. And yeah, have a good one. So see you guys next week. Bye-bye.